Hey everyone, I'm Jessica here with another solo review, and today I want to talk about BoxOff. And to be transparent, I received this copy for free from the publisher to take a look at, and here I am. So this is one of those sort of wooden peg puzzles, if you remember from way back in the day or from now. I just remember growing up and having some of those. And I'm going to dive in here and actually show you how this one plays because I think that is the best way to show it off. There's a couple of different versions that are available out there. I have the actual pegboard variety, which I'll show you how we're going to set that up in a minute. But this is a sort of, in theory, a simple game of sort of untangling these rectangles, and the rulebook is fantastic because it is so short, but it explains everything because this is a very easy sort of game to play in terms of just lining up rectangles of similar colors and sort of removing those from the board and slowly working your way out. So this is, right now, this is what you should end up with if you're going to win the game. But it starts off full, and I'll show you how that plays out. But just up front to say, I have been having a blast with this. It is great for sort of playing when I'm multitasking, like when I am sort of kind of watching TV or a movie, but I'm not really that interested in it. This is a nice way to kind of spend that time and actually think through something as I'm sitting there trying to pay attention to something else. And this is just a really fun time, and I am excited to play it whenever I see it and have the time. So let's dive in and I'll show you how this actually plays. So here's all the components that are needed for BoxOff. You have the board and then all of these wooden pegs. I have them in a separate little container that I always use, but these can be placed wherever, kept in the box, in a bag, however you want. But the main way to play BoxOff is by actually kind of creating rectangles that you're going to pull off the board. So for instance, even if it's just two spaces away like that, that is a matching rectangle that I would then remove and clear out. Other ways that you'll see rectangles, you can have really big ones like that. That's actually a rectangle because you're doing a kind of corner to corner. I don't need all four corners, just two. This one I could remove from the board. However, if there was something in between there, I can now no longer remove it. So for instance, you might have something that looks like, let's just set up a fun little example here of what kind of tangling up sort of looks like. And, you know, just for fun, let's throw in this one as a good example, hopefully. Let's see how that goes. So you can see there's four colors. And now in order for me to remove these ones, this is just an example. The full game, you're actually going to fill in the whole area. I need to kind of look for, where do I start? How do I actually remove these? So I can see that the green ones are right next to each other. I can take those out. Then that opens it up so that these red ones can come out. You can see the yellow and the blue, though, are still not filling just empty areas. So I'll take those out. And then the yellow ones come out. And then the blue ones come out. And had that been the end, I would have won. But that's not how it is. So I am going to set this up. The one note is that setting this up, I'll start it as I kind of chat here about the game, is that this does take a little while to actually work through. This is not a problem. I am randomly drawing from here and not actually looking at what I am picking. But you can see how just doing this first row does take a bit of time in terms of setting it up, and I wonder, where are the blues? The nice thing about this is that as you fill this in, you can actually kind of pick up on the patterns, which is fun. You can kind of start looking at where you could, you know, start creating those rectangles. I am going to pause here though and return in 1 minute in order to show you how this is going to look like fully set up. All right, so now I have everything fully set up. All of the pegs are in this nice board, and it is time to start playing. So I am just going to actually start playing through this and see if I can solve it, which is easier said than done sometimes. I'm just looking at this puzzle, and we're just going to start right here. You can start anywhere, and as you play, you'll get more experienced in terms of identifying where you might find entanglements that you can untangle. How do I want to do this one? And it's fun because I think this is one of those games that you will either immediately be like, oh, I see all these cool moves that I could make. What are you doing, Jessica? That's completely wrong. You might spot that as soon as I am starting to go through this. But it's an interesting little puzzle that may look super easy at first. But then as you start to play, you might be like, oh, wait a second. That is neat in terms of, oh, here we go. All right, this is a large area. Let's take that out. I get very excited when things work out, and when they don't, like this one is going to be a problem. I can immediately tell. So how do I get out of that? Let's see. Pull those out. Let's get these right here. Okay, all right, hold on. I know this is right there, but then that opens up that area. Aha! And then there's a big open empty area, so we can get that one out. I will say I go at a much faster pace, I think, than when I first started playing this. When I first played this for the first time, you know, it took me a good like 10 or 15 minutes to really see the moves. Now I move pretty quickly. Also, I know I'm holding this down, but this is a very sturdy, thick wooden board that doesn't really need holding. It's more just to keep it completely straight in this frame for you to follow along with. And then I lost my train of thought. I was on a roll. Let's see. So this is going to be another issue down here, potentially. And I know that this may look like an obvious spot to just take those two off right now, but I can see that there's a lot of tangled elements going on over here. So how do I want to get to those? This whole region is going to be a problem. I can sense it. All right, so let's slowly try to remove everything from there. So let's get this one out. That blue will be an issue. I see you. Don't think I don't see you, blue. And I know some people will be able to see many moves ahead, and you may already see if I've won or lost, but I just enjoy the idea of working through this, thinking it through. It's very satisfying to be able to pull out pairs like this. And sometimes you go really fast, and other times everything slows down to a crawl, and then you realize, oh no, what have I done? Is that the case here? Potentially. This, ooh, do I want to do that? I think I want to. It's just this red. I'm looking so many moves ahead here just to see if I can win. Am I gonna do it? No, there's no pressure to do it because that'll clear those, that'll clear those. Let's just keep moving. I feel like sometimes you can get kind of caught up in something so much that you stop actually making moves. So let's just keep it moving. That might have been unwise for that one, but you know what? It's okay. We're gonna go with it, and I think I can. All right, so let's pull these out. Let's get these, which would get this. Does that actually help me at this time? All right, so I believe I have lost it for myself, but we're gonna see because I don't think I can completely untangle, do what I want to do right there. That's okay though. It's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna play it out to as close to the end as possible. The nice part here is I have removed all of the green, so that's an accomplishment, I think. It's gonna be this blue and the red though that I'm not gonna be able to pull apart. This is all right though. Let's just play it out to the end because there's no way that I can, well, I mean, these two are never gonna make a difference. I want to get as close as possible. So we'll pull these ones out. And then I guess that's never gonna, so we'll go here. And then we could do, yeah, let's do that. And that is where I am gonna end up with this one. So this is not a complete win. I don't consider that the worst play though. I have had some where I end up with 18 remaining, and this is after playing for a while and I can see the puzzle. So I will have to try again next time. Each time you play though, there's a random assortment, and it's just a nice experience to go through. It's pretty quick, and just a nice time, especially if I could just have gotten a couple more of those. I was so close, but that just means that it's time to play again. That again is Box Off, a really fun, puzzly sort of solo game that I really have been having a great time with. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you get some great solo games to your table soon. Thanks again. Bye!